We have a carry game here. This is E.G. Ramzes. He is previously a carry player. Now he plays offlane, but now that he's at home and he doesn't really have anything to do and he's playing Europe server, he's been playing a lot of carry. So we're gonna watch how he plays his carry. He's extremely high ranked. Right now his NU rank is 32. We'll see how this game goes. So he's got a treant to support him, bounty rune. He fights with this tree to try and get the bounty, contested, doesn't really get it. Early game, he goes the very standard build for cores. Sometimes cores go 2 tangles or carries. He goes Tangle Flask, Felling Blade, Flipper, and 2 branches. And it's very important to watch like laning stage of these carries because that's where, you know, you snowball or you don't. So here the tree is kind of just zoning out the enemy heroes. He tried to go for the range creep, but he denied the ranged. Like the main focus when you're a carry in the lane is pretty much to secure the range creep or get it denied. And if you can't get it, you gotta really like tell your support to get it for you. Like if you have like a lich or an oracle who can cast a spell, that's really nice. They can always get them that. And he's very casual in his, and you can see that there. He just really using his Spirit Lance to secure the range creep because the range creep gives the most amount of gold and experience, and it's very important that it doesn't get denied in the lane. So you can see here, like he's playing against Beastmaster. It's actually very favorable for him because the Beastmaster won't be able to kill off his illusions later in the game, but in the laning stage, he could give a tough time. Here they started focusing him. He just casually uses a doppelganger to like create some more illusions and also disjoint some of the hits there. And he kind of just wants this tree to either pull and give himself some solo XP because that's how he starts to be in the Beastmaster. He gets a lot of experience. And he's okay that the tree can't really help him too much because he is fighting up against a Weaver. Because he knows that as his game progresses, the more items and levels that he gets, he's eventually going to out-carry everybody in this game. And that's his goal. He just wants to have as much XP as he can and will just slowly scale into that monster who can win the game for him. For their team, and that's why he picked Phantom Lance in this game to counterpick like Beast, Weaver, Disruptor, Lark, like all these guys. And you can see his item builds, like with his first gold, he's already bringing himself his, I believe that's a magic stick here. Yep, first gold he brings himself a magic stick, so every time Weaver casts a spell or the boards get casted, he'll get some charges, which will give him a lot of regen in the lane. Very nice. And if the lane is too hard and there's like 2 heroes hitting him, he would just pretty much pull aggro. As we see here, multiple times he's done it. Right here, he's pulling aggro to the range creep, try to get the creep denied, and at the same time also be far away from the Weaver so he doesn't get hit too many times. Ideally, you have a support who's helping you, like harass them, and you're just securing all these last hits. So here we can see they focus a tree, and because his tree's getting focused, Ramzes decides to go for the hero who is low health and try to secure a kill if possible. He has another Phantom Rush available, gets the kill on the Beast, topples out, has a flask ready, gonna flask up, and now he's gonna bring some more regen to the top lane. So here he drops some regen for the treant to pick up. And his first build is gonna be very simple, right? He's just gonna get the magic wand, he's gonna get like probably 2 Wraith Bands. That's your standard carry builds nowadays. It gives you a lot of stats, a lot of damage, and it makes you so strong in your lane. And it's very important that you get these kind of items in the early game, or else you're just going to get punished or lose too much HP, or you're not going to have enough damage to like kill creeps or contest creeps or harass the enemy. So you can see here like boots is not a priority when you're playing carry. Priority is always going to be stats first, and then you can get like power chuds later. So you can see here, he just like kind of chills, waits for the creeps, and then there's a sentry down by the treant. So notices that the Weaver already Shakuchi'd. It's gonna have a 5 seconds before he can cast Shakuchi again, and they just get this super easy kill. And that's all thanks to like all the stats and damage that he has available. He's got plus 14 agility 5 minutes into the game already because of this build right now. And look at his build, he's going for the Phantom Rush early. So playing against Beastmaster, he's always killing the board. It's very good, like if you get rid of that stuff. So Phantom Rush is pretty much your go-to in this lane because it gives you a lot of stats when it gets activated. The cooldown goes lower, and it's just a really fast farming tool. You can see with a lot of carries, they always tend to go for the build that allows them to farm faster, more than like try to win your lane, for example. Now, having more levels in Spirit Lance might help him win his lane, maybe, but it also costs more mana, so it's a bit tougher. But Phantom Rush is going to allow him to be able to jungle later, at the same time give him still a decent amount of laning presence in this. And you can see here, like, he's not farming super spectacularly, and every time the support is going on the enemy, he does help him out and try to get the kills there. And with just 2 slows like that, they get the Beastmaster, another kill. Feels really good for him. The priority for him is definitely going to be the kills if the enemy is trying to either go on his support or, you know, you have any kill opportunities. And he's just always like, when support dies, he's always dropping the regen so that the support can bring the regen, like the tangles and the flasks and stuff like that. Because the courier takes a really long time to arrive, right? So, and he just wants to keep farming these creeps under the tower. He doesn't really want to go on the enemy at this point in the game. When the creeps under your tower, you really got to make sure you get these last hits, because those last hits are just never going to come back. Get some more denies. Casuals, very same thing, pretty much. And this time there is a Shadow Fiend that is rotating to the top lane. And he's just gonna hide into trees, trying to juke around, just see if he can just live through this. And he doesn't give any kills to the enemy. He just instantly TPs out. And this is where we wonder, like, where is he gonna go next, right? As a carry player, it's really difficult when there's 4 guys in your lane. What do? He casually walks back to the top lane because he notices that Shadow Fiend already left. He's not pushing this tower down, and he's gonna go back here and farm. It's not good idea for him to go bottom at this stage in the game, because I think the enemy, his teammate, his offlaner still needs XP and farm down there. And this Phantom Lancer, because the Shadow Fiend already left top, he doesn't need to like be afraid to go back into it. And you can see his next item build, he's just going for the power treads in this game. So he's gonna get more stats and more farming potential. And now it's 9 minutes in the game. Normally, if you're having a really hard game, what you can do is you can just go straight into a jungle. You don't have to like, you can go straight into a jungle at like minute 7, pretty much, once you have enough skills. Because if you stay in the lane and you're having a really hard lane, you're not going to be farming and you're not going to be helping out your team in any way. Especially when you're playing Phantom Lancer, because Phantom Lancer is a hero where once you get Diffuse or Manta, you become a really strong hero. So here you can just see him, he goes into a jungle, tells the support to take over the lane, and he's just casually picking up whatever camps he can. He sees a Weaver who was contesting his outpost, he's not going to contest that. He just wants to maximize his farm at this point in the game, get more experience from it as well. And you can just see his farming pattern right now. He was at top lane, he went to the small camp, he went to his medium camp, now the big camp. And he's just making his way through the jungle at this point. I will keep watching him and see like what his pattern is. Here, the Shadow Fiend tried to kill him, but it seems like he barely lives here. Topples out, survives, buys power treads, got a band of Elven Skin, gonna get more stats. So as you can see, like, his goal is always to get as many stats as he can. And with the Phantom Rush on every camp, he's always going to get that plus 40 for agility, which is going to help him farm extremely fast. He moves a little bit out of the range so he can activate the Phantom Rush again. Like, the Phantom Rush doesn't work if you're on top of the creep already, right? So you got to move back a little bit to activate that, and it gives them so much damage and attack speed. And he goes back to the jungle, farms up a little bit, let his team do the other work on the map. Then he moves middle. He sees that there's a lot of heroes top. So because there's a lot of heroes top, he runs to the mid lane, tries to see if he can take the tower, but the TA already took it. And this way, like, if, let's say TA wasn't here and everybody was fighting top, you should run middle so that you can put pressure on this mid lane while everybody else is like top lane for the enemy. So at least you can put some pressure on the enemy instead of just AFK farming only. And that's what he's doing by watching the minimap here. So now he started like farming aggressively, and he's around the mid lane again to make sure this mid lane is pushed out. We saw this with like Abed, we saw this with Armel, we saw this with a lot of these like really good mid players. They always make sure this mid lane is pushed out, and because he's like kind of playing this greedy role of like farming jungle and stuff, he's making sure whenever the enemy is pushing another lane out, like one of the side lanes, he's around the mid lane already to push that lane up for his team. And then he goes and jungles after that. So here he's made it to the Ancients area. He stacks the Ancients because Ancients give you the most amount of XP and gold in terms of neutrals. And he's just going to casually farm up this Ancient stack. And he's always activating his Phantom Rush to maximize his farming efficiency. And it's 13 minutes in the game, and his team is pretty behind, right? They only got the mid tower. That's pretty much the only advantage that has been gained by his team. And his net worth is like below the Beastmasters. So we're going to get to see like how he actually comes back in this game, or what he does, and how he doesn't fall under pressure. Because at this point in the game, when you're behind, it's really easy to fall under pressure and like start fighting with your team when you're not actually ready to fight with it. Why not rush the Diffusal? Good question. I think Yasha helps you farm a lot faster, and Diffusal means that you're trying to fight right away. He's probably, like, what's going through his mind is he needs more than just a Yasha to be able to fight. Sorry, more than just a Diffusal bait to be able to fight. So he's going for the Yasha, which gives him movement speed, attack speed, and damage, which is far more... far increases farming capabilities. And most likely we'll see him go Yasha straight into Diffusal Blade instead of going for the Manta. So here we see, sorry, just gonna go back a little bit. So there was a engagement on the top lane. He was actually already farming his way back into the top jungle because he farmed here. Now he's farming his way into the top jungle because he notices there's a lot of heroes bottom, right? Now he could have stayed here. He could have farmed one more camp, right? The 14-minute camp, but he decided to run top because he saw all of Radiant side in the bottom area of the map. So that means instead of farming here, he runs all the way top. He can make sure that this lane gets pushed out or he can kill somebody, right? And he's already prepared to push the opposite side of the map so that he can buy more time for his entire team and himself to farm in this game. Because there needs to be some kind of pressure happening on this map in order for you to, delay the game longer. That's his idea. So here the enemy starts coming back to the top lane because they noticed the Phantom Lancer was top. And they go on him with a Disruptor. He doppelgangers into the trees and dispels the Thunderstrike, and now he's stuck in the woods, but his teammates are all coming top to help him this time around, and they were able to turn the fight onto this Beastmaster. The egg goes off as well, and suddenly they get 2 kills. Which was really nice play by Ramzes because of the way that he uses Doppel into the trees and it turned nighttime at the same time. So he was already thinking like the enemy team might be coming to attack him already. So here, because all his team was top, and there was a huge wave on the mid tower, he actually TP'd his middle to protect his mid tower because the rest of his team TP'd top to help him. And then he goes back into the right side of the jungle. Nope, he cannot. Sees a Weaver. Doesn't go into the jungle quite yet. Pushes a mid lane now, and then he goes to the bottom lane because there's a giant creep wave pushing there, and he also notices the Slark top. Because as a carry, it's very important that you try to farm away from the enemy when you want to get your items and you haven't hit your timings. If you're anti-mage, it's like the same thing, right? You're always farming away from your enemy, so you don't have any risk of dying, but at the same time, you're also applying pressure on the other side of the map. Because he farmed this, he farmed a lot of gold here, and he's going to start pressuring bottom, while Radiant side is all top lane, trying to pressure top lane. But it doesn't matter because this carry, who's going to actually win the game for Dire, Ramzes, is AFK bottom lane. Now Radiant feels very pressured that while they're top, they need to do something. Or they need to go hunt this Phantom Lancer, because he's farming a lot, and he's farming extremely fast. You can see his net worth now, all of a sudden, already second. So here he gets Yult comboed, but the Shadow Fiend misses the combo. And instantly he activates Doppelganger and then gets out of it. And all of a sudden the Shadow Fiend now dying, or almost dying. But the Phantom Lancer not actually committing to this, just gonna let the Phoenix get the kill here. And Ramzes is just gonna go jungle. I think one of the reasons why he did this is he doesn't know how many of the enemy heroes might have TP'd bottom. And he doesn't want to risk like losing all his HP and potentially dying to some follow-up, right? From Radiant. Although there's a lot of people showing top here and Mars is getting gone on at the same time. It doesn't seem like he really cared much about the kill there. So as we can see, he's already going for the Diffusal Blade now. Because after the Yasha, his farming item, he's going for the Diffusal, his fighting item. And his team did the right play of pushing the mid out while everybody on Radiant was top, because they really need to delay this game as long as they can. So this Phantom Lancer can hit his power spikes. And you can see from the natural pressure the Phantom Lancer is making, the Shadow Fiend made a mistake. He came bottom, yelled him, and messed up. Instead of staying top, maybe pressuring with the Beastmaster, taking towers. And then later outpowering Dire's lineup by having way more farm than them and more map control. And you can see here, he just comes into the fight. He does have Doppelganger. The moment Beastmaster is looking like he's going to cast Roar, he Doppelgangers up onto the hill. And he's just going to get away from this. Because his team was already here, and he knows the Shadow Fiend just died. Shadow Fiend won't have any souls to fight, and no ultimate. It seems like a good fight for him to take with his team. And he's just kind of giving vision, not really committing super hard. But the Mars commits here to the fight, so he looks like he wants to help his team out, because the Mars did commit. And suddenly he's going to get a kill onto this Beastmaster. It feels good. And he still feels kind of strong, but the Slark comes in, and he's going to have to start running away, because Slark is extremely powerful with the Diffusal Blade. Does have a magic stick, uses it, and now he gets to run away, gets a free war from the Dominator as well. And you can see, like, he's not afraid to help out his team if needed, right? If they the one start the engagement, as long as he's not the one being focused in the team fights at this stage in the game, because it's only the mid game. And now he's got his Diffusal Blade, and this is going to help him feel much stronger in the fight, but obviously he still wants to get that Manta going first before he really wants to take fights with his team. And you can see his net worth is 9,000. It's pretty good considering that he has been pressured quite a bit in the lane and stuff, and his team's map control wasn't all that good throughout the game. And on top of that, he has TA who's also farming the Ancients a lot, but he wasn't able to farm as many Ancients as a TA. So in this kind of game, he's playing this carry that's like kind of farming aggressively, but also giving space to his TA at the same time. Here his team's already here, and then just gets a free kill onto the Weaver, and now he instantly TP's top and protects the enemy. As you can notice, like, whenever they get a bunch of kills, because it's only 20 minutes in the game, he just wants to maximize his farm. Instead of like staying bottom and let's say taking the tower or something, he goes back to top to defend the tower instead and keeps farming up. And this is gonna make his farm speed extremely quick and not rushing the game for any particular reason whatsoever. Takes the outpost, farms some more camps, keeps pushing out the top lane. He sees that all the heroes are in the mid lane, so he wants to get this top lane out, so there's more pressure being applied on the map by Dire side. Shadow Fiend dies, and suddenly he sees an opening to try and take a fight. Goes on to the Beastmaster here, gets a free kill, and now all the illusions are hitting the Slark, burning his mana. Very annoying for Radiant to fight into. Doesn't kill the disruptor, TP's out, but sees now that they've got 2 kills and we're fighting around the mid lane, they can go straight into a Roshan pit. They have TA with Desolator, and he feels very strong. He's got the Manta and the Diffusal. He's got it since minute 22, which is extremely good timing for a game like this. Very good timing for a game like this. And he's 6-0. He has not died a single time in this game. And not because the enemy is not killing him. The enemy is really trying to kill him, but his awareness of where they are is extremely good. And he's making sure that he doesn't get caught out. And even if he does get caught out, he has an escape plan with his Doppelganger. And instantly goes bottom, pushes the lane out, pressures the tower. Now they have Aegis, so they go into high ground. And the enemy is feeling a lot of pressure from this Illusions and the TA. The Illusion is going to tank up the Glyph. Whoa! The Mars misses the spear onto the Shadow Fiend there. And now the TA dies because of that. But you can see where he's going with Ramzes. Aims the support and kills out the Disruptor first. He's always looking for the easy kills, right? The easy kills in this game is the Disruptor and the Beastmaster. The Weaver is not that easy to kill because he's got Takuchi. Here he TP's top, but the TP was too long, doesn't manage to get there in time to kill the Beastmaster, and they have to leave the bottom area because the TA did die because of the Shadow Fiend ultimate, unfortunately. And you can see the tier 2 item they picked up was an Aquila, and he's holding on to that. Tier 3 items will come in a few minutes. And the next item he took is a Basher. This Basher is going to be really nice to like just kind of stun Beastmaster from TPing out, or the Shadow Fiend's BKB. Maybe he can cancel that, and if he gets Abyssal, he can cancel the Shadow Fiend BKB ultimate every single time, and that's going to feel really bad for Shadow Fiend here. Sometimes you can go Butterfly on Phantom Lancer. You can also go, I guess, Heart of Tarask. We've seen that too. But Basher is a very solid choice. Gives you good damage and strength, and then also the ability to stop people from TPing out in front of you. And now, because he does have the Aegis, he goes for the next objectives that are available on the map, which is in top lane. And again, goes back to a mid lane to defend it. He's not really like forced to go high ground with the Aegis. He's okay farming because he's got more items to get, and he can get only stronger in this game. And at the same time, he doesn't want the enemy to get more map control. And the first Aegis normally is used for just like farming and getting a lot of map control instead of just going high ground. Second Aegis is typically when you actually end up going high ground with it. Unless doing your first Aegis, you kill a lot of people in front of their base, and then you can just go high ground, right? Like what happened bottom lane. They were just healing themselves and they went high ground, but obviously they couldn't really accomplish a lot from that. But here he sees the Beastmaster just trying to split push, gets a kill on him, kills his summons. And he's just kind of using his hero to like control the map, and he knows that Radiant cannot really kill him in any way anymore. So he's pretty much leading the charge. Where in the early game and in the mid game, he was the one who was like dodging the enemy and trying to get his items. But now that he has all his items, he's the one leading the charges. He's the one who is following the enemy cores and seeing how he can pressure them or burn their mana before a fight starts. Here he makes a Slark cast BKB and run away from him, and then instantly finds a Beastmaster. The illusions are just killing this Beastmaster. He has a Phantom Rush. You can just chase him down. And look at Radiant. They're trying so desperately to catch Ramzes, but with all these illusions, it's so difficult. And now the Slark dies and the Disruptor dies, just like that. Then instantly goes back bottom, pushes the lane out. So good. Here he just doppels in, goes for the Beastmaster, bashes him. Shadow Fiend doesn't have enough damage to obviously take out a full health Phantom Lancer. And with the tree shield and the Phoenix heals, he's just able to get popped back up. It's really good, and now he's already got money for that Abyssal as well. And he's just kind of, you know, chilling around the mid lane, using his Doppelganger to create as many illusions as he can. Here comes the big Shadow Fiend ultimate. He might actually die here, and he does. So this is the one time he actually made his first mistake in this game, and that's being around the mid lane with about half of his HP against a Shadow Fiend BKB. He thought he could maybe use his Doppelganger and get out, but the ulti was perfect. He could not doppel, and he dies, and that's his first death. 80 seconds. He's down for 80 seconds. A little bit too overconfident there by Ramzes. Which happens when you're playing public games, especially for professional players like this. Sometimes they're just not taking it super seriously. And obviously they're also human and they do make mistakes after all. He revives and he looks at where to go. Mid lane is the only lane where there's creeps, so he will probably just keep in mid lane, push that lane out, but notices that there is a Weaver here. Weaver gonna get stunned up by the Mars, but I'm not sure if the stun is long enough, but he does have the Abyssal Blade. Uses that to get the kill onto the Weaver here. And you can see his position, he's just letting his illusions run in first. He doesn't want to get ulted by the SF by just running up that hill. Lets the illusions go in first. Kills off the Disruptor after seeing that he's been left alone. Goes back to mid lane. Burns all the mana of the Slark. And they're back mid lane once again. 2 heroes dead. They just want to get this Rax this time around. And his Abyssal Blade is up once again. So this time he uses the Abyssal Blade to stun up the Shadow Fiend. And this way he cannot actually get that Black King Bar ultimate off or the Eos combo off here. Boom, Abyssal. Just like that, SF will die here. And goes for the next kill. And that's pretty much it in this game. It was very well played by him in terms of like mirroring the enemy movements and making sure that he gets his items. And then once he does get his items, he pressured the enemy team all by himself. Like, not, I wouldn't say all by himself, but he did pressure the enemy team with his Diffusal Blade and his Manta. Once he got the Diffusal Manta, he felt really powerful and just started running into the enemy and just using his illusions to like burn the mana of the enemy before the fight starts even. And how he bought time for himself and his team to farm up to that point while they were trying to dodge the enemy, because like they have Beastmaster and Shadow Fiend, right? So Radiant is gonna always like try to push towers down. So what he did was every time he saw someone going to another lane, he immediately mirrored them, went to the opposite side of the map and started pushing that lane out. So there's a lot of pressure from Radiant thinking that, oh my god, this Phantom Lancer is farming very fast, he's gonna get fat, yo, let's go try to kill him. And that's how the Shadow Fiend, who was extremely farmed earlier in the game, died to the Phantom Lancer and the Phoenix because he made a mistake, because he was pressured. And what happens when you pressure the enemy, they make mistakes. And this game was like absolutely perfect by Ramzes, apart from the mid lane death that he had. Was this a draft win as well? I would say Radiant draft is actually very good, to be honest. But I think they made a lot of mistakes. They should have just grouped up as 5 and tried to take towers with the Beastmaster, but the Shadow Fiend instead went after the Phantom Lancer and like try to kill people, honestly. Oh my goodness, I forgot to record this one. Oopsies.